ceremony on time and take time to get here. So students are all lined up. We do not have, this is a beautiful venue of it. Um, uh, I'll tell you a little bit about the venue in a couple minutes, but I just need to do a little housekeeping before the students come in and we get our formalized welcome. There are several of you. Raise your hand if you're pinning a family member. Okay. So this is a record for us. So I think it'll just go rather smoothly. Things usually do here. And when I call, well, Janet will be calling out the student names. They'll be on the other side. They come up to get their certificate. When we call the student, you can make your way up. And if you come right about here, okay, about here, you'll walk over and you'll pin them. Okay, so they get a certificate and a rose, and then they get pinned. So pinning Alicia Coffey, well, Alicia too, will be pinning the others. A couple other housekeeping things. Really haven't too much problem. Everybody is special today, right? Everybody has, well, every student is special. They've worked so hard for this day. I just ask that we do allow families to come right up here in this space. Okay, you can come up. All I really ask is then when you're done applauding yours and hooting and hollering, you know, the next student has their time and then the same thing. If somebody's pinning, come on up here. Once they get, say, okay, wave to your family. Why? Because we're also filming it. So we're live streaming it, and it'll be on Facebook. So the family on our Facebook page. So for those of you who are here and get to it, if you want to see it again, it'll be on our Facebook page. Live out of the state, out of town, or they can't travel, or they're bedridden. So this way they're able to watch. And we found it thanks to the team, and they've done a great job. Started this about 3 years ago, live streaming, and it's really been nice. So I'll get started in just a minute here. I'm just going to check, set up with the students, and then usually wrap things up within an hour. And then we like you to go celebrate with your loved ones. So again, it's all about them. You guys okay? All right. We don't have overhead music. It's right. We can either film, which we do, or play music. Not into music, which is unusual in a graduation. But it's all about graduating. So we're going to let students come in, and I'll start welcoming. They're all nervous that I didn't give enough practice time. Okay. So I'm going to officially start. We all set? Okay. I'm officially starting. Welcome, everybody. My name is Heidi Mix, and I am the Regional Medical Coordinator. I oversee the medical programs, and the LPN is our largest medical program. And it is our busiest, and it is our hardest, and it takes a lot of work, which we'll get to in a little while. I'd like to start off with some thank yous, some necessary thank yous, because without these people, we would not be able to be successful in providing a program.
not have a venue if it wasn't for Celebration Church and Pastor Eric Scott and his generosity, the whole congregation's generosity. They've always said yes, and they always have stuff set up for us, and it's just a great venue for us, and it's got plenty of parking. So I want to start by thanking them. Second of all, I want to thank our board, our both couple board members here today with us. I appreciate the board support for our programs. And also administrators, Mr. Kevin McDonald, Chuck DePasquale, Julie Donlin. Um, they always have been supportive of myself and the programs that I work with. So I appreciate all their support very much. And also, I'd like to thank the office staff. A lot of times they get forgotten. So that's our Darrell, who without Darrell, so many things would be wilder done. Sandy, who of course helps John with the money, and John, who's in charge of financial aid for our program. He oversees the financial aid, and on the other side of adult ed, a lot of other programs other than medical. So I thank all of them, and I'd like to thank all the instructors. So we have several here. I'm just gonna ask you to stand up, and without we wouldn't have a program. Without my team, there would be no program. They work very hard, and it's so hard to get the students where they need to be. So I'm going to Barbara. Barbara is also part of the office team, and her position's new this year. It's Barbara Dotson. Barbara is working with admissions and employment surveys and all that good gather data for and do. And she's doing well, learning things and getting to know all of us. And then we have who is a clinical instructor, lab extraordinaire. She works at the Livingston County Rehab, and the students do enjoy her rotations. And she also is my CNA coordinator, and she is very well liked by several counties because her graduates 100% passing rate usually on their certification exam. So she does a great job. Then I have Katherine Kelly, who is new this year. Katherine comes to us from the Buffalo area. She's so committed to the program. She right away to get to her clinical site, and I put an ad out there. We know each other from an old position I had in hospital administration. And Kath goes, oh, well, I want to help nursing out. And I said, it's a ride. She said, I can do it. And boy, does she ever. So she works out of UMMC. She does labs, and the students have taken quite a liking to her rotation. Then we have Stacy Wellstead. Stacy is another now, and she works at a Strong Memorial Hospital. And that's one of the students' favorite sites to go to. You know, it's so big, and they have so many interesting things going on. And Stacy's done a great job with the students. She again wants to give back to nursing, and you really have to want to give back to the nursing profession to do this type of job and teach, because it's quite a we have some classroom instructors. Marisa Dale is a Marisa. She just graduated a class not too long ago, and every time guys graduate a class, I give them another. So she's got one. Next is Amanda Milligan, and Amanda's a jack of all trades. for us at Unity for a while, and RGH, I think she's fluent there too, and strong. She knows strong. But when we hit COVID, we needed a different type of help really quick. And Amanda's very skilled with the electronic-based learning systems and developing curriculum. So we are fortunate to have her. And she can also teach in the classroom, so it's fabulous. Great asset. Then we have Jackie Van Norman. She, she is teaching in the classroom. She also helps in lab, and she started with us during COVID too, and she was instrumental in getting some of the electronic clinicals going. So she was just graduating her class not too long ago. Then a special position. I have a clinical lab manager, and you might think, why do you need one of those? Oh boy, do we need one. Her name is Alicia Coffey. She's amazing. Don't let her youth fool you. She is absolutely amazing. Some weeks we run up to 26 clinicals. That means 26 between 6 to 8 students going all different directions. And she sets up the schedule. She meets with all the people that train, gets what they need, and she runs our new lab. And we have a new lab, and we now have a simulation lab, and she's taken that over. So I really appreciate her. Writes really good curriculum, so we love her. But now I have a very, very special person of the day, and I will tell you, I'll say a little bit more when she comes up to address the class. But Janet Greene, she she is totally amazing. She's been working with the program since 2014-15 and puts her heart and soul into it, and completed her master's while she was doing a really solid teacher. So I'm going to say a little bit about the class actually now and about Janet. Um, this is not the Heidi Mix show, so I don't speak that long, but there are some important things to say. Janet has done a superb job with this class. This class, I got to tell you, well, first of all, Janet is one of the most patient teachers I've got. I only see the other side. She is totally 100% committed to this, right, guys? She goes beyond, above, and never says no if a student says, Janet, I need some tutoring. And she say, well, I left the building, but can you be on an hour and I'll do some. So she does go really above and beyond, and very committed. As a matter of fact, Janet Greene is so committed. This year she got very ill, and she had to go to the emergency room, and she calls me from the emergency room, mind you, while they're still putting an IV in her and allowing her to breathe and do other things. And I'm like, my gosh, where are you? She goes, oh, I'm in the ED. And she didn't sound too good. She goes, now listen to what I have to say. The class has a quiz coming up. Don't worry him. Don't tell him where I am. I said, okay. I don't think you should need to worry about this. And then I said, she gave me a couple of orders. And I said, I'll call you in a couple hours. Well, I didn't call her. She called me. Now, did you find everything I told you? So she would call me each day, and she said, I'm coming back. And I said, you can't come back for a couple weeks. And she was chomping at the bit to get back. And her husband can probably attest to that. We had to almost tie her down to the hospital bed because she was worried about her students. And she's just that type of person. Really loves her job and is committed to creating and building young nurses to put into the workforce. She's very committed. Now bit about this class. This class is totally blowing me away and blowing me away. They've broken a couple records, and I remembered the other one they broke. First of all, going to school during COVID is not easy because at any given time you might be exposed to it. That's why I ask people who, feel they need that extra protection. You just don't know. But also you're going into clinical areas where you're working with COVID patients, which is very hard to do when you're a youngster in the profession. But also the students get COVID. So when they get COVID, they get sick. And usually get it right before a major exam. Always very worried. But this student class, I really saw them really actually pull themselves together, turn things around. We always usually, we have a pretty good retention rate, but it usually occurs in the beginning if students just aren't able to program for several reasons. And they really came around really when Janet got out of the hospital because they got tired of a couple of us coming in and giving them the exams and teaching. They just went to town on hitting their books and studying. So one of the records we're really proud of right now today is we have the first time we have students who have taken their boards. They finished the last class, and the way I do the paperwork is I that paperwork and I stay late. My office staff does, and we get in the day after their last class. And that allows them to get their paperwork verified rather quickly. Jan do the classroom. We start leading the students to fill out those forms about a month before classes actually end. Figured out they could do that. Their document is up in Albany, but the minute they get my document, it goes rather quickly. So we, as of today, their last day of school was the 18th of May. My paperwork arrived in Albany 19th or the 20th, one of the 2 days. And 12 students have taken their boards, and those 12 students have passed. So that's totally awesome. And I would who have taken their boards and passed, I'd like you to stand up. Thank you. I have to say, you other ones, you're next, okay? Because you can do it. Your classmates did it, you can do it, and that's what we prepared you for. And I'll say, all those that you would whine about to all of us, do we really need to do that? Do you know how long that takes? Yeah, yeah. If you do it, and you do it right, and you complete it, you will have a prize at the end of the program. And when you first came to me and I interview all the students, you told me what your goal was. Like us right now, but we will get you to your goal. And that is what they did. They are amazing. It's not an easy program. The other people we need to thank before I forget, families and friends that are sitting in the audience. Let's give them a hand. Because we know somebody needs to cook, somebody needs to encourage, and somebody needs to give a ride to kids. And if it wasn't for their support systems, it's very difficult to finish a program. For those of you who don't know, who might be watching live stream, it is a full-time program. They have classes 9 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. And when I say classes, I mean they're there in lecture. Then they have at least anywhere between 3 hours is a light night, right, guys? Probably up to 6 hours of work to do for the following day. And the same with clinical. Before they go to clinical, we gave them clinical work to prepare them for the clinical day. But most of all, to prepare their minds to thinking and being able to make critical decisions on good analysis and good survey of what they need to do. It's very hard. It's learning a new language, learning a new way to think, and basically when you work with nursing students, you have to retrain their minds to also think a different way. It's almost like Sherlock Holmes in training. You have to learn the language and then you have to apply the language. And so a lot go into it. And when students first come, they go, "Oh, my job understands. I'm going to be these hours." I said, "It's not going to work. You have to cut the hours back." And I will say that most of and those that didn't by the third month, they did that once they got into it. So the other record that they've broken is, I think, about 10 people pinning family members. We've never had that many. It's amazing how many nurses we have in these families out in the audience. So I'm very glad you're part of the profession, and I'm very glad that you're able to come today and pin your student, your family member. So that is just really neat. So that's one. The other one is just, I guess it's not really a record, but I really have not, and I've been doing this for a while. And every class is unique, but I've not really ever seen a class just totally like a tornado. And I asked Janet, what they take? What are they doing? All of a sudden, everybody's passing, everybody's sprouting, everybody's moving. And it was great to see. And they started to work together more as a team, which nursing is a team sport. And they started to support one another a little bit more, a little less self-absorbed, and a lot more team-oriented, which also something. And we hope we're fostering that. And I will say that this class has totally learned that lesson. And they know when they go out and work, it's not an individual taking care of patients, it's a health care team. It's a team, it takes a team. So I'm very class. What I have to say to the class, it's really going to address a lot of things with you today, is make sure that you take your time. Make sure you ask the questions. There's never any question that's too foolish, too stupid. You're going to learn, like I told you in the classroom, the most you're going to learn your first year of nursing. So I told all these students, be wise in your first job. 100% placement now. And these students get to choose where they want to work. Acute care, primary care, OR. The doors are wide open to them. And that first year is so crucial, guys. Make sure if your mentor that you're working with doesn't work, don't be shy. Get another one. Because you worked for this. And you worked for your license. So the questions are necessary, especially your first year. You want to protect that license, but most of all, who do we? The patient, right? Patient safety is number one. And it's usually the bedside nurse that stops a lot of errors from happening, from doing that last check on the medication, making sure you check the band, doctor's orders, and when they don't make sense, make that phone call. And we train them to do those things. And this class is ready to make that advancement. The other thing I'd just like to say, patients. I know because I've heard stories from some of you. You're going to be taking care of people that are not at their best. Actually, they're at their worst, especially if they're in acute care. And now long-term care is definitely very challenging. So just remember to never take it personally. Remember what your role is with these people. And most of all, be patient, be caring, and be understanding, and be there for them. When you are doing rounds, do your rounds. Spend time with your patients, and you'll never go wrong. You'll build a healthy career. I cannot wait to see how each and every one of you do. So keep the emails coming. Every time I open my email now, I'm like, who took the boards and passed? Who's got a new job? And so far, our employment right now, almost everybody is employed somewhere. And now those of you that were hired on permit, I'm sure you told your employers, I don't need a permit. I've got a license. So that's something to be very proud of. And just really now take care of yourself. Okay? Don't take too much on too quickly. Take a little downtime. You're going to work, but this time you're not going to have 6 hours of schoolwork to do. Okay? And you're not going to have an assignment due at 5 o'clock Monday or Sunday afternoon. Sorry. And if it's not in by 5 o'clock, you don't get to go to clinical. It doesn't work that way anymore. So take some time for yourselves. Okay? Do your shift, do it right, and then spend some time with your friends and family. And whatever those hobbies were that I asked you in your interview, do you have any hobbies? What do you like to do to have fun? And some of these students ask, why do you ask me that question when we can't have any fun when we're in this program? I ask it to remind you to keep those hobbies, because life will become normal after you complete this program. And if you asked any of these people, why a LPN program? Why aren't you interested in a higher level? This LPN programs, they're the heart of nursing. LPN is one at the bedside, and it is the most challenging to teach because we have to teach them not only the science, but the critical thinking and the professionalism all in a year. That's pretty challenging, and they took it on. So congratulations, guys. So I'm going to segue into the next piece in your program, and that is the significance of the cap that they're wearing. And I'm sure all of you go to the hospitals and never see the nurses wear, nonetheless, white, but nursing caps. And there's reasons for that. But traditionally, at graduations, we still do give nursing caps. We're going to talk a little bit. Alicia's going to tell you what the cap represents, how the origin of it, and you're going to be getting your school pin today. And there is a story behind our pin. It was created by many, many years ago by our students and an instructor. They put the pin's artwork together, and it's a very interesting story, and we use it. And so our school pin's a little bit larger than some of the ones you guys showed me who are pinning people today. You'll know why. There's a story behind it. Well, back up to the stage here, the podium, Alicia Coffey.
Hello. Congratulations. You guys have all worked so hard to be here today. I'm very, very proud. So we're going to talk about your nursing cap. how did it come to be, and the significance of it. So the origins of the nursing cap can be traced back to Florence Nightingale's efforts to legitimize and professionalize nursing. She labored not only in nursing, but also the goals and ideals that someday nurses would be considered an important part of the healthcare process. Originally, the nursing cap was designed to pay homage to the work of the nuns of our earliest nurses. The cap's purpose was to assist in keeping their hair in place, to present a professional appearance, and to begin the mindset that nurses needed recognition as an occupation. Although the nurse's cap style has changed since its origin, it remains an important tradition in nursing ceremonies that symbolizes the professionalism in one of the most noblest careers. Okay. Now the nursing pin. Picture of it down here on front of this. The origin of the nursing pin goes back to 1855 when Queen Victoria presented Florence Nightingale with a gold and emerald brooch. It was fastened after regimental badge with colors and design that gave recognition to Nightingale's allegiance, character, purpose, and inspiration. Not only do the modern day pins identify trained nurses, but they are a representation of the hard work and dedication that comes with the training of a nurse. Each pin has a unique mission statement that identifies the charge of each school. The meaning of the Genesee Valley School of Practical Nursing pin is the gold-colored shield of the pin represents the pledge of generosity and protection to all we give care to. Our green program color is represented by a stone that stands for the hope and joy of wellness. And the tower with a beacon of light seated on a book characterizes to provide optimal care and safety for the lives of the others using their newly gained knowledge and wisdom. And that is the significance of the cap and pin. And going forward, I am going to introduce our salutatorian student, Emily Flanagan, to address her class.
Sorry, I'm short. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us to celebrate the B7 LPN class of 2022. First, I want to start off with recognizing our valedictorian Jerome. He unfortunately cannot be here today, and I was given the great honor to speak in his place. I am so grateful to have been able to be in this program with him. Jerome gave so much of himself to help others during this program. He played a vital role in the success of other students, including myself. He was the definition of what a valedictorian should look like. Looking back to May 10th of 2021, we all came into this class not realizing what we just got ourselves into. After our first class, it seemed like we were in for the longest year of our lives. Now, but as time went on, we started to notice a change in ourselves. We were beginning to think and act like nurses. Janet was our steady guide. She was shaping and into true nurses. Janet, none of us would be here today without you. You were one of the best teachers helping us to hone our critical thinking skills. To all of the family and friends that have supported all of us during the year, thank you for all the sacrifices you may have made. You helped us chase our dreams and start new careers. We will forever be grateful for you. Now finally, to my fellow classmates, it's finally over with. We started in the midst of the pandemic with Zoom classes, online tests, having several instructors at once while they navigated the best they could during the pandemic. We endured endless ATI modules, carrying that giant foundations book, long objective sheets, and a lot of clinical paperwork. And I know the DAS sheets were everybody's favorite assignment. Look at us now. We came in with minimal, or in my case, no knowledge of healthcare, and we are leaving as nurses ready to take on the world. We all should be proud of our accomplishments. We are going to be great nurses. Congratulations to the B7 LPN class of 2022. Janet, I remembered. Janet, come on up.
So I just had to say a couple more things about Janet. And I know this is not the Janet show. I do this with all the main instructors when they're up here. It's my time to really say things that probably each of these students would like to be up here and say to her. So before she comes up, I just cannot say enough about Janet's commitment to this class. And not only that, but I didn't mention her wisdom and her ability to be a lifelong learner. There is nothing that I bring into a curriculum committee meeting, and I can think of some crazy things sometime, but I'm thinking of the future, I tell everybody. We got to keep moving forward, where Janet doesn't say, yeah, okay. And she's trying to learn it and trying to do it, and usually she masters it pretty fast. And I appreciate that. I also want to say that when she's not in the classroom, guys, she's also very supportive of the program in any way she can be. And before this class, there were other classes that we needed an instructor for a period of time, and Janet would teach one class and go to another class. That's what Maurice's doing right now. But it takes a big commitment to do that. And any class that her hands touch end up being very successful. And I very much appreciate that. Now I'm going to give the mic to Janet, because I'm sure you're ready to hear someone else speak for a while. But Janet Greene has some remarks to say to her class.
Okay, so first I want to give my welcome to everybody here, friends, family, and everyone out there on the Facebook stream. Because first I want to address all of you who have supported the students of this class. Even though your loved one up here is very special to you, I really like to reinforce to you how remarkable these people are. Early last year, we were still in the middle of a pandemic. There are frightening stories everywhere. There's uncertainty in the healthcare field. Yet at that time, these students were applying to nursing school. And that includes the many of them that were already in the healthcare field, and they knew just how difficult it was out there. So there's kind of a standing joke among nurses that you really have to be crazy to do our job. And occasionally that's true. But there's more important qualities you need in order to be a nurse. You need a true caring for others. You need to be willing to put others' needs above your own and give more than your all. That these students chose to pursue this career in nursing at this time in the world just speaks volumes about their character. In order to get to this demanding, difficult, stressful, fulfilling, inspiring, and wonderful job First, they had to get through what had to have been one of the hardest years of their lives. And they did it in an outstanding fashion. They showed perseverance and determination through days of class, clinical, nights of homework. They lost time with family, they missed events, they suffered the loss of loved ones. There were illnesses, surgeries, multiple rounds of COVID and quarantines, even a serious car accident. That was just another obstacle to overcome. Even through the many doubts that this class had sometimes about themselves, they turned out to be extremely successful. And as proof, you already saw those who have already taken and passed the NCLEX. So to my students, you were a joy to teach. Even at though times I felt like you were one of the most random classes I have ever taught. As I was reminded the other day, I could always count on you to challenge me with questions like, how do you assess pallor on an albino person? I'm not forgetting that as the... But because you were such a joy, and I am so very proud of you, I would like to share my wishes for your future. I wish for you to remain healthy in body so that you're able to put forth the effort you need for your patients, to be able to have the rest and renewal you need to be fresh each time you encounter a patient. I wish for you to keep the same strength and determination you've shown in class, to demand the best and give the best to your patients and see that they always receive the highest quality care. I wish for you to have the wisdom and discernment to make the correct decisions when caring for your patients, to keep their safety and well-being foremost in your minds. I wish for you to retain your compassion and keep your patience, reminding yourself of why you chose to become nurses, even when situations and patients can be demanding. I wish for you to feel peace in your heart when you encounter situations that can be painful or sorrowful, knowing you've done the best you can for those in need. But mostly, I wish for you to become the kind of nurses that I know you're capable of being, the kind of nurses I would trust my own family's care to. Congratulations to you all. All right, now we're going to begin the certificate and pinning.
Okay, so this is what you all came for, right? Your certificate. Okay, so Janet will call your name, you come up and get your certificate. Alicia will pin Sumsky, and again, those family members, just come on up. And then when we're done pinning, you can take pictures right over here. It really does work.
Does work. Okay. Jacob Aldrich. Janelle Bonadonna. Jonathan Kendi Marazi. Isabel Casada. Lenise Castro. Taryn Collier. Amy Connor. Paola Dunham. No.
Those of you who can't see the pins, the pin is just so tiny, so.
Alexandria Ernst.
Thank you.
Emily Flanagan.
Don't be shy.
Gabrielle Fouquet. Shaylee Geyer. Audra Hessler. Erica Hook. Leandra Hulo. Jessica Keating. Just a little change in the alphabetical order. Charday Lane. Yeah. I remembered. Your certificate says Lane. No, Greg. Don't cry. Sarah Lowry. There's her fuzzy head. She's making a scene.
She's making a scene back there. You hear her? Yes.
Mm. Okay. Oh. Jordan Mulig. Shayasia Sims. Ian Steele Avery. Taco Bell? Lisa Vokes. Alessandra Wolf.
So the whole class was very challenging, and there is actually the students got to a point where they were challenging one another. I think Emily mentioned a little bit about that. Our valedictorian cannot be here today for some different reasons. And I just wanted to recognize Jerome Beal. Jerome, like Emily said, is a very giving young man and would help anybody in the class. And you'd hardly even know he's there because he never says two words, but he's always doing things behind the scenes. Jerome also was given a Citizenship Award by the team, our team, because Jerome gave a lot of time to the program. He sits on our curriculum committee, and while he might be quiet, guys, he definitely knew when to speak up. So Jerome is the valedictorian of the class. He has the highest GPA, and he worked very hard for that. So let's give Jerome some thanks. So you met our salutatorian, Emily. She too really took on this challenge. As a matter of fact, there were many times where I had to tell Emily, just relax a little bit, you know. You know, I have COVID. You got to get me to class, Heidi. I said, you'll catch up. You'll catch up. We'll get you there. And so she just was always wanted to do the right thing. And that's Emily. She takes on something, and I learned from Emily what it is she just wants to do everything right. She wants to do it all the way. She wants to complete it the right way. So I would like to congratulate Emily, and I'd like her to come up. All right, so I'm going to give the mic back over to Janet Greene. Since you all now are graduated practical nursing students, it's time to say the nursing pledge. So I gave you all a cheat sheet.
Okay, this is the pledge you're going to live by and base your career on, so we're all going to read it together, okay? In full knowledge of the obligations I am undertaking, I promise to care for the sick with all the skill and understanding I possess, without regard to race, creed, color, politics, or social status, sparing no effort to preserve quality of life, alleviate suffering, and to promote health as affirmed by the person. I will respect at all times the dignity and belief of my patients under my care, holding in confidence all personal information entrusted to me, and refraining from any action which may endanger life or health. I will endeavor to keep my professional knowledge and skill at the highest level, and to give support and cooperation to all members of the healthcare team. I will do my utmost to honor the International Code of Ethics applied to nursing and to uphold the integrity of the profession.
So that concludes the graduation ceremony. It's a family event, so we say now, go and enjoy one another. You worked hard for this day. Do something fun, which you never hear me say. And really just, it's going to be a beautiful weekend. Soak the weekend in. And for those of you who are still waiting to take your boards, back to the books. I'd like to thank again each and every one of you who attended today's ceremony. It means an awful lot to us to have the students have the support that they do. And I can see it from looking at this room. And it's great to see your children, guys. I get to see when you say, oh, my kids. And again, I'd like to thank the board members who have come to the ceremony today. I appreciate their support. So go out, enjoy. If you want to take any pictures of your family member, the student, we will be around for a little while, and you're more than welcome to come up and take pictures. And